Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is your Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by Squarespace. I personally use Squarespace for my online portfolio at jaredpolin.com because it's simple, affordable, and I don't need to know coding. In fact, when I redid my website a few years ago, it was up and running with multiple galleries in a matter of 20 minutes. Head on over to get your 14-day free trial at squarespace.com/FroKnowsPhoto. If you decide it's for you, use the code FroKnowsPhoto at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Now would be a good time to redo or build your online portfolio. First up, let's start this week off by saying I hope you're all hanging in there, keeping busy, and staying safe. Right now, Steven is working from his home in New Jersey.
Now all I got to say.
And being that Dan and I live just a few blocks away from the factory,
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in.
We're still coming into the office and maintaining a more than safe distance from each other. Isn't that right, Dan? Okay. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's jump into the first story where Nikon Rumors is reporting that Nikon is going to be introducing more fast 1.2Z glass.
Oh shit.
Currently, Nikon's roadmap only shows a 51.2Z in the works, but it's all our hopes that they can quickly introduce lenses like a 35-1.2, 85-1.2, and maybe a massive 105-1.2 if we're lucky.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Right now, there's no word on when these lenses will be coming, let alone be announced. And in the meantime, this roadmap is pretty cool. I mean, look at it. Look at the graphic design layout. Somebody needs to get a raise. The one lens that's on its way that I can't wait to see is the 200-600S because I think a ton of people will purchase this lens if the price is right.
The price is wrong.
What lenses are you waiting for from Nikon? Hell, let me answer that for you. All the good ones. Next up in Rumor News Fix, Canon Rumors last week reported that Canon was potentially working on a 150 megapixel version of the EOS R. Even though this seems far-fetched, I do want to remind you that Canon has already put out a 120 megapixel sensor into a 5D body many years ago during their Future showcase. 120 megapixels, it's pretty cool. Canon Rumors goes on to say a select group of photographers, not including me unfortunately, are testing out a body with close to 90 megapixels. With so many megapixels, don't expect a camera like this to have impressive video features, but then again, the market this camera would be going for doesn't really care much about video. This type of camera would be a landscape photographer's dream, but I personally would be curious to see how it works in a fast-paced environment as well. Canon Rumors goes on to say this camera should, and I repeat, should be ready to ship in early 2021. Now, if they can hit that date, I will be truly amazed. Now, before we get to the last story, I do want to update you on something that I announced just a few days ago, where I'm giving away the FroKnowsPhoto Guide to Getting Out of Auto to all students, parents, and honestly, anyone else who finds themselves in isolation for free. To date, it's been downloaded close to 10,000 times.
Really?
Really?
Which means I've given away $670,000 worth of video guides since it normally sells for $67. Now, if you're a student, parent, or anyone else in need, head on over to bit.ly/thanksfro2 to download the guide for $0.00. And since I got a lot of requests from people who would like to still pay something, you can choose to contribute $5, $10, $20 or more, or you can just get it
for free.
Now, I will be turning this off in the next few days, so now is the time to go and get it.
Right now.
And finally, Canon Rumors has shared more potential specs of what would be called the EOS R6.
So that's the number.
That guy. Before I get to those specs, think about this for a second. Canon is rumored to come out with an EOS R5, R6, and an R high megapixel, all within a span of a few months. Now, if they can pull that off, wow, just The latest rumored specs of the R6 include the ability to shoot 1080p at 120 frames per second, include 2 card slots, which I can only hope are 2 CF Express card slots, but I have a feeling we will only get 1 CF Express and 1 SD. Include a lower res EVF than the R5 and not be as well built as the R5. Some of the specs that were already shared include a new 20 megapixel sensor, IBIS, 12 frames per second mechanical, 20 frames per second silent, and 4K at 60 frames per second when it comes to video. On paper, this sounds really good for a lower-end, entry-level full-frame camera that's possibly going to be announced in May and out in June. But with what's currently going on, I'm sure that date is fluid, kind of like Dan. And there you have it. That's your photo news fix this time around. To check out the last fix, go ahead and click on the screen right here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. And by fluid, I mean he likes to drink a lot of water. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.